Good afternoon again, everybody. Welcome back to the next part of today's kickoff. As is tradition for RGF Executive Search, Q4 kickoff means we invite an external speaker, and I think you're going to really enjoy what we have in store for you today. First of all, let me take you back to 2008 in Ebisu. I was working for a company called Panache. Panache was one of the first bilingual IT-focused staffing companies in Tokyo. It started in the 90s. So young Ben joined Panache, and there was this pretty cool and successful account executive working there. We called them, they weren't recruiters then. At Panache, we called them account executives. There was a guy there called Dan Sinawat, and he was the top performer in the business. So I immediately realized who I needed to try and catch up with and challenge, and he gave me some good competition at the time. But we had a good time working together back in Panache. Fast forward to May this year, and Dan invited me to the Plug and Play offices in Shibuya because they were having the first Japan event for his organization, his platform, his community, AI CONNEX. So myself, Tsubasa, Taku, we went and attended. And it was really interesting because they were talking about how AI is impacting industry, all types of industries, in particular for Japan. And this was the launch event. Dan looks exactly the same as he did back in 2008. I've probably got a few more gray hairs, but hopefully I don't look too much different either. Dan is joining us live from Dallas, Texas right now. So I think it's coming up to 12:30 a.m. So I don't want to waste too much more time speaking now. Dan, ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you for joining us. Let me pass it over to you.
こんばんは、こんにちは、皆さん。AI CONNEX の創業者のダンです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
It's late, but it's fine. You know, I work global 24/7. I'm like an AI machine. They call me AI Dan. Yeah, and maybe I'll just share a little bit about my history. I was born in the US. My family are from Thailand, so I actually only stay in New York for 2 years and then left and spend most of my time in Thailand. After 16, I came back to the US, finished my school and college, and then I went to Japan and stayed there for 10 years. That's where I met Ben. And you know, it's been a great time. I was doing IT recruiting. We went through some rough time and some good time, right? We learned a lot from that. And you know, the fact that I was doing recruiting gave me the chance to talk to many different IT professionals and learn what they do in their day-to-day job. And I have a background in IT and business from my college day. So I decided that I wanted to go back into doing that myself. So I actually went to work for NTT in Thailand for 4 years, and then got a chance to move to a US company called Keysight, which used to be the original Hewlett Packard back when they were started in the Silicon Valley. They were the original Silicon Valley company, actually. And then, yeah, we still have the museum for Hewlett Packard at Keysight office in Silicon Valley, even until today. And after they moved me to the US. Well, I was working in Thailand for NTT, then Keysight in Singapore for 3 years. And then I moved to the US because Keysight, they transferred me here to the headquarters. And then there's a lot of AI buzz going on. And I decided, 2024, January of this year, to start this company called AI CONNEX. And yeah, here we go. Fast forward 10 months later, we're one of the biggest global AI community. We do AI consulting and AI investment now as well. I won the award AI 75 for Dallas Fort Worth this year in May. The people that got the award are people like Mark Cuban and some of the top entrepreneur and AI experts, which I'm very honored to be part of that. So maybe I'll tell you a little bit about AI CONNEX, but before I go there, a quick quiz. I'm sure Ben, might be able to answer this, but do you know what's coming 2026? What kind of big world event that's going to happen, Ben?
In the US?
In the US? Yes, of all the places.
Yeah, I think 2026 is the year when England finally win the Football World Cup. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe, or Japan national team. So it's
Yeah.
actually, we're going to have a World Cup here in the US. The last time that it was here, I think it was 1994. It's been a long time. And this time, I think it was probably the second time that we are co-hosting with a different country like Canada and Mexico. Dallas by itself, where I live, actually hosting 9 matches all the way up to semifinal. And together with Houston, another 7 matches. So Texas is going to be a big place for soccer in 2026. But my vision is not just to show the world only soccer, rodeo, and cowboys and let people go home. My vision is to show the world that Texas and US, we have something else. So I was planning to host the biggest AI conference in the world, AI Expo 2026. And I've been working with the mayor and different leadership here to make that happen. Like I met Dan Hunt, the owner of FC Dallas, and I don't know, football, but Kansas City Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl last year. Also, we had a good talk about we should show the world not just soccer, but something else here as well. We want to make it AI and technology hub. And I think you should come visit us here in Texas. You're going to see a lot of excitement. And I think Japan is also putting a lot of investment in AI. And I think I want to touch on it a little bit as well. But a little bit before we go to more about the industry, I wanted to share quickly what AI Connects do. Our pretty much quote is AI transformation, business evolution. I always tell people AI for the rest of us, for businesses, is nothing but business. It's 95% business, 5% technical. And I think a lot of people seeing AI buzzword, and a lot of people pretend to be expert, but they're just talking about surface level AI like ChatGPT, LLM, but there's a lot more underneath that, like computer vision, where we can actually use AI, camera, and digital twin to monitor things like in the warehouse, like you can see here, at the airline, and so many things. And then also do predictive modeling and forecasting for sales, or respond to RFP automatically using AI. But we cannot do all of that unless we really have the real AI architecture, and that's what we do. We create a centralized knowledge base, not just a database. Data is just a dumb thing, a noun. We try to create an actionable data where we turn noun into verb, and that's what we call a knowledge base, right? And then we've been around the world, like Ben said. I was in Japan at Shibuya office of Plug and Play in May. We also did event in Singapore. You should see here, one of the founder of Stability AI, EMAD, is actually was one of the main keynote speaker. Balaji right here, you can see him, a CTO of Coinbase. And also Ben Gotzel, the father of the word AGI, artificial general intelligence. You can look him up on Wikipedia as well. We also did event in Thailand with NVIDIA and Thai Banking Association, and also here in Dallas with Toyota at their headquarters, and focus on AI in automotive. So we try to have presence all over the world. Right now, Asia and US is my main focus, but we want to expand more into Europe in the future. And some of the partner that we have, NTT Data and AWS, of course, NVIDIA, and a lot of the US government that we work with as well. And we also do a lot of the nonprofit activity. Like in Japan, we work with women entrepreneur group called Me Talk. I don't know if you heard of them, but you should look them up. They're a supportive group for women entrepreneur in Japan. In the US, we work with Spanish-speaking group called Hispano Hablantes, and in Thailand, we work with LaSalle Bamboo School, where we try to go to Golden Triangle and give them more access to PC, not just AI, but really give them access to technology, because I think that can bridge the gap between the society. And our main focus is to have an AI access for all through our nonprofit AI CONNEX outreach activity. And the latest announcement that we just did is we launched an AI venture house. This one is more about investing and nurturing a new startup in AI. Like you can see here, we have some example that I wanted to show you, like AI in sport. There's a lot of way you can actually apply AI, and I wanted to tell people that the only way that AI would make sense is vertical AI. As you can see, NVIDIA, AWS, Microsoft, we call them a horizontal AI, which is an infrastructure of AI. But where it would make sense for a lot of us, for the businesses, is actually the vertical AI, where you actually apply it for something specific, like sports. We apply AI to sport to have AI track the ball and create instant highlight from a basketball game, for example. In esport game, in building agent, for real estate, realtor bot, and then application like Canvas, where we actually create AI stylist. We have an B2B API where you can have your own apparel store, but then you can actually turn your customer face into, and they can put on their face into their trying on different clothes in that virtual web store as well. And then the last one I will talk more about today is actually Resume Guru, where they actually do using AI agent and do a mock interview with you, which I think is pretty cool. And I can show you a little bit of demo here as well. And we invest in all this company, and we try to help them to grow bigger and get more investment and exit at the end. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on a little bit about trends in AI. I'm sure you guys hear a lot about Llama, ChatGPT, and all that. But what does it mean in terms of human equivalent, right? I think right now we're at like ChatGPT 4. It's already a little bit smarter than PhD graduates, as you can see here, right? And now we're moving toward a ChatGPT 5, where it will be even smarter than a PhD at IQ 150, right? And I don't know, you heard of the concept called AI, AGI, and ASI. We're currently at the AI era where AI itself is still not as smart as human. There's a lot of things that AI cannot do. And now most of the people like ChatGPT, OpenAI, their real goal is actually get to AGI, which we call artificial general intelligence, where it actually equal to human. But then beyond that is the ASI, where it go beyond the human capability, is artificial super intelligence, where we pretty much doesn't have to work anymore. AI would do most of it, and we would have probably instead of universal basic income, we will have a universal affluent income. Everybody will be affluent and well off, pretty much.
Dan,
Yeah.
I recently attended an event on quantum computing, which is still a very new field to me. And the speakers were saying that it's predicted to add 1.3 trillion USD to the global GDP within 10 years. What are you hearing, seeing with regard kind of like the confusion of quantum computing and AI?
Yeah, great question. The only way we can get to ASI is to have quantum computing. So I'm not sure you have seen any of the video, but definitely go look it up. Type in AGI, ASI, and AI, and the future trend. And you're going to see that in the future, they predict that each of us going to have our own personal quantum device that actually do all this AI processing for us, just like what we have today in a big, cloud GPU, right? Like we have our phone today. iPhone just released their Apple Intelligence. That's
Right.
exactly in that direction where everything gonna be processed on device. Like up until now, AI has been processing in the cloud with a big GPU, right? The new trend, even Intel announced, and we are actually having a partnership with Intel on AI PC or edge AI, right? And that's going to be the biggest trend. And you can see that Apple stock went up pretty high. A lot of us in this industry have been putting a lot of focus in that on-device AI for a little while. And we, like myself, I bought Apple stock when it was like almost half the price now because we know that it's coming, that they're gonna announce something soon, and it's been in the work, for example. And now that it's there, and it's just gonna be more and more. Everybody gonna start pushing things into the edge because you can't just send everything back to cloud, and the privacy is big, right? So that's the reason. And then quantum security is probably gonna be the first thing that we are going to see because quantum computing, one is commercially available. All the encryption that we have today, like TSL 1.2, 1.3, going to be obsolete. Any encryption today that is using is going to be obsolete when quantum computing be available commercially. So already a lot of company are developing a quantum security. So that's something you definitely should look into.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then perfect, we talk about the trend, and then I think some of the AI job market, I'm not sure in Japan, right? But in the US, one of the highest in demand job is actually CAIO. Have you heard of any hiring in Japan for this kind of role, Ben?
I've heard the job title, but we're not seeing a lot of requirements yet for that. But you're saying that this is coming, right? This type of role.
Yeah. I mean, in the US, this is in high
Mm.
demand.
Wow.
There's a lot of people actually providing that as a virtual CIO right now because there's just not enough demand. Like CISO, right? You see a lot of CISO. This is the next thing, in the C-suite level that people need, and it's very hard to find. So.
So these are all the kind of hot jobs that are job titles that are AI related. Which industries are you seeing at the moment that AI is currently having the most impact, and which industries do you predict will increasingly rely on AI?
Yeah, so if we look at the GDP number, like in the US, for example, which I think should align with a lot of the countries around the world, especially developed country like Japan. So number one GDP in services is actually healthcare at 22, maybe $25 trillion, right? And then second is $15 trillion in financial services. So those two are the top two that you're gonna see, with the most AI application and the most demand for all these jobs. And then the third thing that I think people overlook is actually education. I think AI, the maybe the number one use case in AI might be education.
Mm.
um, I can predict that in the future, the teacher for all your kids is actually going to be AI, and your human teacher will be assistant, and you will focus more on human connection, right? We should be focusing on things that AI cannot do, and I think that's human relationship, the connection, the communication between um, us and building that trust is more important than actually learning math and all that, and which AI is probably better at teaching.
So humans assisting the AI teacher to deliver
Yeah,
their classes.
yeah.
Wow.
So if you
Okay.
look up, I think in the US we have an application called Khan Mingle from Khan Academy. They're I think they're gonna be one of the biggest AI company in the world actually, because education, like each one of us is going to be trained on how to use AI eventually. We need to know how to use AI, how to prompt, how to interact with AI on a daily basis. like this Apple phone, would eventually become, each of us will have our own AI agent to interact with other agent, and it's already happening. So you have my agent talking to a customer service to set up some appointment. It's already happening. So
Cool.
yeah, and now let's maybe get in a little bit around HR and recruitment industry, because a lot of us that are here in this industry, right? And maybe I'll just highlight a few things which I'm sure you guys already know, that it's time consuming to do interview prep, screening, right? Difficult to evaluate the skill and soft skill as well, right? And communication, confidence, and even now, we're actually integrating the next version of our resume guru. It's actually sentiment analysis. When you see the demo, we actually have a video call with the agent, and the next ChatGPT model can actually now evaluate your sentiment. Are you mad? Are you confused? Are you angry? Right? And it can actually score you based on how you interact and how you're feeling during the interview. So it's very interesting, right? And then the feedback is always important. So those are the key things that we normally focus on during the interview. And looks at the AI trend in HR quickly, right? What do people use it for, right? As you can see, right now, resume screening being used a lot, like ATI score, ATP score, I forgot what it called, right? You have AI creating resume, and now you have AI screening resume. So it's a war against AI and AI right now, really. I'm not sure what you see in Japan, but it is like that here in the US. So and then you use it for performance evaluation. I'm sure in Japan, I think that's probably more common to do performance evaluation, maybe use AI to help with that. Engagement and predictive analytics, like behavior, their career path, and so on. Right. I think that's some of the thing that you see. And of course, the market growth. As you can see here right now, online recruitment globally, um, it's at 25 billion, but we see that by 2027, it's actually going to grow to 43 billion US dollar. Because everybody gonna start doing it more online, right? Interview and applying through job, LinkedIn. Of course, Recruit do a pretty good job on Recruit Next and so on, right? I think the growth of the platform will just gonna be more and more. But the AI recruitment market is still small, so there's a big chance for growth there. And a lot of company are developing for their own tools and providing the candidates with more AI capable tools, such as AI interview mock, like what we're gonna show later on. I think those kind of things gonna be a value added that you can add on to your online recruitment platform, right? And it would maybe complement your human interaction with the candidate as well. And of course, adoption, global versus Japan. Globally, is still faster than Japan. And I think the key factor that we see is lifetime employment, right? And then labor shortage, and so on. So I think that's probably not going to change for a while. But I think Japan is in a very interesting position. Like here in the US, I see a lot of JETRO people are coming to the US trying to promote startup to come expand their business, you know, from just domestic business in Japan to global. Um, Even like company like uh, DNA, I see they have a big office here in Los Angeles, and we actually work with them a little bit. on helping startup to move and expand from Japan to the US, for example. And Jetro also have, I think this year alone, have about 4 or 5 programs with METI, Ministry of Education and Technology in Japan, and the US here with Plug and Play and some of my partner in Austin, like Q Branch, that we do a cohort together to encourage Japanese startup to come here. So hopefully that would help with a lot of AI adoption in different area for Japan and getting the Japan company to be more global and hopefully contribute to the business expansion for Japan as well. And now just talking a little bit about use cases of how we use AI to transform HR and recruiting. For example, we can use AI to help with resume screening, right? Analyze the skill versus the job description. Good example is AI. I'm not sure you have seen that before. It's a pretty popular tool here in the US. And also doing predictive analytic for hiring, predict their success, right? Use emotional data and other interview result and so on, or like maybe even questionnaire. One of my friend, he actually doing some research on computer neurology, so brain and computer, how it all being used to analyze human interaction and success in the job. And also like employee retention, like IBM Watson talent is another good thing. It predict, if they're happy or not happy with the job, and looking at their performance and interaction with the team and peer review and so on. And also chatbot just to engage with candidate, and that's what we do, like at the Resume Guru, for example. Yeah, and in the future, as you can see here, there's a lot more way that we can apply it into, ethical AI, helping with the transparency, fairness, inclusion. Inclusion is a big thing here in the US, as you see. And so maybe we'll go do a quick demo of this Resume Guru quickly. Let me switch over to my web browser, and then let me. All right.
So this is Resume Guru.
Yeah, resumeguru.io. You can go to the website. You actually can give it there's a free trial that you can do. And I'm just gonna do this quickly.
Hello, I'm Hannah, a mock interview assistant from resumeguru.io. My goal is to help you practice your interview skills. Let's get started by copying and pasting a job description here.
Chief AI Officer.
It looks like there are no existing job descriptions in the database for your user ID. Could you please provide the job description for the Chief AI Officer position? This will help me tailor the interview questions accordingly.
Okay, maybe let me try AI sales.
It's still a very new position, that one, Dan.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, AI sales manager. Let's see. Yeah. I should have asked for your job description for any job,
Yeah. I'll
Let's
let you
go
go
to
ahead with
Indeed,
this one.
right?
Okay.
It seems like the job description you provided is for a sales manager, not a chief AI officer. Could you please provide the correct job description for the chief AI officer position? This will help me tailor the interview questions accordingly.
Maybe let me go back and, start over.
This is definitely a live call we've got going, Dan.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Hello, I'm Hannah, a mock interview assistant from ResumeGuru.io. My goal is to help you practice your interview skills. Let's get started by copying and pasting a job description here. It looks like there are no existing job descriptions in the database for your user ID. Could you please provide the job description for the sales manager role you are interested in?
Okay, here. I just copied this. I forgot to prepare the job description.
Great, thank you for providing the job
There you
description.
go.
Let's start the interview process. First, can you tell me about a time when you successfully managed a sales team to achieve a challenging goal? What strategies did you use to motivate your team?
I let my team make a lot of the decision. I'm more about empowering my staff rather than giving them direction.
It's great to hear that you focus on empowering your team. Could you provide a specific example of a challenging goal your team achieved under your leadership? Additionally, what specific strategies did you use to motivate your team during that time?
I try to support them and provide guidance when they have problem solving some of the customer issues.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's dive a bit deeper into your approach. Can you describe a specific instance where you supported your team in solving a customer issue? What was the problem, and how did your guidance help resolve it?
Well, I think I should just stop there, but as you can see, right, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's
Very
really
cool. Yeah.
right, it's really that's how far AI has come along, right? It's pretty much almost like you're actually interacting with real, or even better, because they don't give you any emotional, if you don't do the right, you didn't give it the right answer, you really gotta have to go back and give the right answer.
Yeah.
And, this could be a very good practice. Well, we only have it in English right now, but just to give you an example, right?
Thank you.
And then let me switch back to my presentation. All right. And if you feel interested, you can scan here or just go to the website and try it out yourself. As well, we have some other thing like, AI resume, AI cover letter, and so on. But let's look at some other use cases. I think we talk a little bit about sport. So, since we are a sport maniac, let's take a look quickly.
Clutch Shots AI helps users get great sports video highlights fast and easy. That's Clutch. This is what most people get today for youth sports video. It's tiny, and when posted vertically on social media, you can't see what's important. Clutch Shots turns video like this into video like this. It takes horizontal sports video and uses AI and computer vision to reframe it vertically, zoom in, and track the action.
And you can see here, AI, it's actually tracking the basket, the ball, and the person. And that's how we actually be able to use AI to create an instant highlight from a boring video like this to something like this, right? And, a lot of people talk about ChatGPT, but actually a lot of the cool stuff is on computer vision and AI. And we call that, a lot of people hear LLM, which is large language model. Most of them are actually text and, some images, which is easy. It's already a digitized version of a lot of the data, right? But real world, is a lot harder. So we call that a large world model, which you can probably gonna see a lot more in a lot of recent announcement. One of the mother of AI, Fei, she created a new company, but she hasn't even have any product yet. But she talked about how she would turn the whole world into data. She got $300 million funding without having a single product yet. Yeah. So, and that's how the world is actually going to be moving toward. And with this app, we actually have other thing like multi-angle.
5 to 20 seconds of video from all other Clutch Shots devices around the court or field that join the event or game. These multiple angles mean you always get a great shot and can do cool multi-angle edits. Or edit together a group of highlights and add graphics. Clutch Shots AI helps users get.
So the multi-angle was created by just people downloading the app and check into the same game. And then, whoever check into the same game, you get their angle from different position in the court, right? That's pretty cool, right? The AI will match the time frame for you automatically, right? That's, not easy. I'm sure a lot of people shoot the video all the time. How are you going to sync between your phone video and your friend's video? It's so hard, right? Yeah, having AI to do that, it just take a lot of trouble out for you, right? And then I'll show you some example for a logistic, for example, and digital twin.
Thanks, Dan. And then let's go to Q&A after that. I'm conscious of your time. I'm starting to get some questions through for you as well.
Oh, yeah. Sure. So you can see here, a lot of people talk about digital twin, right? It's been around forever, like over 10 years, but it's just a dumb model in the showroom. Now with AI, it's actually become smarter. You actually be able to apply AI into digital twin, and now you can track people where they move inside the factory. You can, check solar panel. You can actually see where the leak happened and so on. So I just wanted to quickly highlight all these kind of use cases, or like even for tracking the airplane, for example, like accident, like what happened in the beginning of the year in Japan would not happen if we be able to apply AI to track what's moving on the ground and not moving, and so on. So that's just a quick summary. Yeah, that's probably my last one.
Fascinating. Thank you, Dan. One question from my side before I pass to the floor.
Yeah.
When is your next event in Japan? And what are your plans for AI CONNEX and the AI community here in Japan?
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to see a couple unicorn company coming out of Japan in AI. That's my vision, right? And that's why I go back to Japan, try to encourage more collaboration, get people to work with company like us and other of our portfolio company that do pretty cool things, and maybe there's something cooler that Japanese AI company are doing that we don't know, right? And we wanted to find them. We want to find these unicorn from all over the corner, any corner in the world, and help them succeed. That's my vision. And we're actually gonna be part of the Take Off Tokyo event in March 2025.
Okay.
I forgot to put the information up here, but take a look at Take Off Tokyo 2025. We already have our logo as a sponsor there, and we will be there. So, and that's where a lot of the big, from big to small startup are presenting and hanging out. Last year it was at Tokyo Big Site. I forgot whether it's the same place this year or not, but you can take a look.
Cool. All right, Dan, thank you very much for the presentation. I'll definitely be wanting to meet up with you next time you come to Japan and join one of your events. We've got some questions. I'm conscious of your time and everyone's time, so let me pick a couple of questions to you, if I may. I'm going to pick one here from Keiko Kurachi, who is actually the Associate Director for our AI and new technologies consulting team. So she's a bit of a specialist in that area. Her question is, since the release of ChatGPT 3 years ago, NLP, natural language processing, has suddenly gained attention now in Japan. Efforts are being made to develop Japanese language LLMs. What do you think will be the next trending new technology in the future?
Great question. Actually, one thing that I didn't mention, it's actually machine reasoning. So the new ChatGPT, the new version, actually like ChatGPT 4, and then they go 5. But then in between right now, they have an O1, ChatGPT O1. O1 is actually deal with more reasoning. It make AI think a little bit more. It's meant for mathematic, scientific kind of research and answer, but be able to apply machine reasoning in business, that's the most important thing. I think me and you, we talk about it, but a lot of the ChatGPT LM tool, it's probabilistic tool. It's not accurate, right? I think it only, like if you apply it to a normal math problem, it can only answer 13%, 1-3 correctly, right? And a lot of the business problem are deterministic problem. We can use probabilistic tool to solve deterministic problem. And AI CONNEX, we have expert that actually can build a deterministic coding that use a combination of machine reasoning and ontology engineering to do that. So I think ontology engineering, machine reasoning are the big thing behind all this AI buzz that's going on, which I think most people don't talk about because they don't actually know.
Right. Thank you. Another question from Keiko, and I think a lot of people might resonate with this question. Of course, it's great that AI is becoming more widespread and we are using it more and more, but what type of risks do you think there might be associated with this influx of AI into society?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is actually education of, how to use AI correctly. Like a lot of people don't know, like let's say you go to ChatGPT, the free version or any version, there's actually an opt-out option that whatever you type in, you can opt out from being trained. That's from a basic thing like that, right? Not leaking your own personal data or not leaking your company data is the most important thing, right? So
Okay. And we kind of touched it when we were talking about the teacher being the assistant to the AI, but which jobs do you think are at risk of just disappearing the fastest due to AI?
A lot of white collar jobs, actually. Yeah. Well, I think programmer probably gonna lose the job pretty quick because AI would be able to write a lot of the codes for you. So you just need the people that actually can, I would say top 2% of any job will remain, especially white collar jobs. People that can think creatively, can direct, can orchestrate things. I think that's the important part and can, communicate and actually have that ability to, do the human connection. So sales job is actually going to be one that remain actually because sales is really a lot about communication, relationship, human connection. So.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because a follow-up question to that is, what type of business person do you think that will be able to survive in this environment?
Yeah. Like just think of what AI cannot do. That's the key word, right? Yeah, like I just said, trust is one thing, right? Human connection, building that relationship with the customer, right? It's very important because they're gonna see a lot more AI coming out. They're gonna get overwhelmed by that, right? So it's great.
Right.
And that's how we succeed. AI CONNEX is actually represent things that AI cannot do. Like we do in-person event to build the community, right? To build trust. So we actually saw the gap. I saw the gap from January 1, 2024, that AI is coming up, but there's a gap in that, which is the human connection. This thing that AI cannot do. And I think that's what we try to represent.
Okay. The questions keep coming in. I'll ask you a couple more, Dan, if I may. This is coming from Julien. Is there any major player in Japan that you're aware of that's investing in AI visual computing, such as what NVIDIA's doing? such as image recognition or AI accelerated real-time 3D graphics, etc.?
Yeah, there's a couple. I actually went to AI Expo in Japan in May. There were a lot of companies that actually doing computer vision right now. And
Okay.
NVIDIA has a lot of their chipset, even the small one called Jetson.
Okay.
Look it up. It's like this small, like a Raspberry Pi, and it does everything on device already. Like, you can walk up to it and like, oh, a guy wearing AI CONNEX t-shirts or something like that. It's already doing that. So yeah, but I think if you go look up like AI Expo 2024, you'll probably see a list of the company that actually deal with computer vision, and those are some of the big ones. Yeah, and people that do data annotation and training. I forgot their name as well, but there's a couple company that are pretty big in Japan right now, because a lot of, like, I think Keiko-san and someone else was asking about NLP and Japanese language, right? There's a lot of need to do those data annotation, and that's right now is very in demand. You need to annotate a lot of those data in Japanese and correcting them. So there's a lot of remote job actually available for that. You can get paid like maybe $10 an hour just double checking what AI spit out for Japanese languages.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. There are more questions I could go through, but I'm conscious of your time. It's past 1 a.m. in the morning with you. We have another part of our kickoff today to complete as well. So I really want to thank you for your time today and sharing all your insight and knowledge on AI, because we're at this moment in time. Well, it's already started, but we're at this moment in time, I think, that we're really very, very soon going to feel and see the impact that AI is having on industry, on society, on life in general. So a lot of what you've shared, I'm sure, has been of interest to everyone. So thank you for that. Typically, if this was in person, we'd be taking you for a beer or a dinner, but that's not possible. Next time you're in Japan, give us a shout. I'll be sure to attend the next AI CONNEX event here in Tokyo, and I'm sure some of my colleagues will be interested to do so as well. So arigatou gozaimasu, Dan. Thank you for joining us.
No
And I think
problem. Arigatou
students,
gozaimasu.